Hey guys, so today's video is going to be obviously my real talk. This is I think number 4. I did not have one up last week and I am sorry for that. I think I might have explained why in a video or two ago. And yeah, so I'm sorry again for this horrible MacBook quality, but the computer that I usually edit on is now in Las Vegas for the week. So yeah. I am on my MacBook, which has this delayed business, but I don't want to go too much into that. I just want to talk about this real talk, which is going to be anxiety, depression, and everything in between. Now, I will be looking down because I have some notes on this notepad because I've been trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about, and this was the first thing that came into my head. So, without further ado, let us get started. Like I said, I was going to do the who, what, where, when, why, and how with these so that they're not too long. Some people did still want me to ramble and just talk about stuff, so maybe that'll just happen at the end. But for now, let's go with those usuals. Who is affected by anxiety, depression, and everything in between? Anybody can be. I'm going to specifically talk about me today with my experience with it, so that is who. What? We're obviously talking about anxiety and depression, and what I really wanted to throw in there, which is the in-between, is self-harm. I did kind of touch base on this before with my channel, but I took those videos away because I was in no mental state to be talking about that because I was still really struggling with it and I wasn't better. I thought I was, but I really wasn't because I just fell deep into another hole and it was just a hot mess. So I think I put those on private now, and people were just like, oh, you want attention? No, I don't want attention. But I know that there's so many people who struggle with it and they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know who they can talk to about it. So my point of these whole real talk things and me getting very personal on my channel is so that you guys know that you do have somebody that you can talk to about things when you feel like you don't have anyone, because I know how it feels. So yeah. Where and when can it happen? It can happen at any time. Anxiety can hit you whenever, wherever. So can depression. So can the urge to self-harm. You could think you're really happy one moment, but then something can just flip the switch and you feel like you want to kill yourself. I know because obviously it's happened to me. This is going to be me talking about my personal business. So yeah. Why do we get anxious and depressed and want to cut ourselves? It is a chemical imbalance in your brain. That is what depression is. I don't want to ramble too much about it, so also check down in the description box to see any extra information or stuff that I might have left out in this video as I'm talking so that it's not super duper long. So yeah, make sure you check down there because I do put some side notes, if you will. How do you deal with it? You should talk about it, write it down, work out, and think about yourself. Be selfish. Now, when I say work out, it is a stress reliever. I know that every time I felt really, really down and I was so hurt by what this one person had done to me, and that the situation didn't go the way I thought we had planned it to go and everything was just kind of falling apart, I've got selfish because I needed to think about myself. He was not thinking about me. He was not thinking about us, the us that we talked about. So you just kind of have to get selfish with it. And in a case like this, it's okay to be selfish because nobody else is thinking about you, obviously. So you need to think about yourself. Do things for you. So I was like, well, what is wrong with me that I want to change? Things that I can change. I couldn't change him. I couldn't change our situation because I needed his help to do that and he just wasn't willing to do it. So it seemed. So I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, well, I'm not comfortable in my own skin right now, which is why I feel like I need somebody else. So what did I start doing? I started working out. I worked out twice a day, every single day. I lost so much weight in 2 weeks and I felt so much better about myself for that moment because it was really about me for the first time. I was like, wow, I'm doing this for myself. I stopped talking to him. I cut everything out of my life. It was just, my focus was myself and my future, what I wanted to do, and all that jazz. So once I did that, I noticed a change in my attitude and my stress levels and all that stuff. Yes, I was still hurting from what was happening. And when I realized that I was still feeling down, I knew it was something more serious. It's not just about feelings that I'm having. There's something genuinely wrong with me. So I went to see my therapist, and I was just letting her know, I was like, I think I might need medication because this is just not working. It works for the moment and then it stops. So she recommended me to another psychiatrist, and that's when I started taking medication, and this was about a year ago. I want to say April, May, March-ish, kind of around springtime, I think is when I started. Spring into the transition of summer. So I was taking the medication for a few months. I was taking it every single day. I was on one of them. We kept having to increase the dose each month because it wasn't working after a certain amount of time. So we had to keep going up, and then we had to add on another medication. But over the last, I think maybe month or two, I haven't really taken it as often as I should, because I have been much better. Now, they do say it takes about a year or so for it to be in your system and like really work, even if you're not taking it. But if you're like your chemical imbalance is that messed up, a slight dosage of a medication can seriously make all the difference. And that's what happened with me, because I have been dealing with depression and anxiety kind of all my life. I've always been anxious, an anxious kid, and my depression happened, it really hit me when I was like 15. So 14 actually. But yeah, so that's when I had dealt with all of that. So I went on to medication. I still have it. I haven't seen the psychiatrist since I think August. So, you know, but I just know now, like kind of trial and error, how to deal with it and how to make myself feel better. So if you take anything from this video, I hope it's just that if you are dealing with that, you do have somebody to talk to. I am here for anybody. And if you need to be selfish, just make sure it's for you, that you're not trying to plan out this life or this future with anybody else in mind. Like, and I know that might sound bad, but when you start doing that, you'll start feeling better about you because you're the one that matters. And then you can factor in other people, whether it be a significant other or a family member or whatever the case may be. But I just have to put myself first, and I'm doing so much better. Like, I'm going to cosmetology school in March. I've stepped out of my comfort zone over the last few weeks. I go places by myself now, and I couldn't before because it just scared the shit out of me. Yeah, so I just, speaking from experience, if you try to do those things and it still isn't working like long term, then maybe you do need to go talk to somebody about it to see if you need to get medication. Don't go to your doctor. You need to see someone who is specialized in this, like a psychiatrist, because doctors, I feel like they're only really good with just when you're sick. Now that might sound kind of shitty, don't get me wrong, but yeah, you just don't want them to prescribe you something that's wrong, and they don't know you. They're just going based on your feelings and what you're telling them. So speak to a psychiatrist or a therapist or whatever it is. Get their opinion. They know what they're doing in this field. So yeah. I want to say that's it, but I feel like I just didn't talk enough. I really just, I don't know. I can't edit this video, so I don't want to ramble on for no reason. But, yeah, like I said, I've dealt with anxiety and depression all my life. I started cutting when I was like 14. I did try to kill myself when I was 11. Yeah, I know. Shit sucks. But I am much better now. I have not been taking the medication. I don't recommend stopping it, but I just have been so focused on other things that taking it every single day no longer became like a necessity for me. Because I know that I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go to bed now, so I really need to take this medication before I go to sleep. And it was just kind of like my life revolved around the medication helping me, because I really needed help badly. And it did help me. And so now when I feel like myself, like I'm slipping or whatever, when I feel like my mood is totally up and down, and it has been the last couple days, I will start taking the medication again for maybe like a week or two to get myself back on track. And it works. So, I mean, that's just me. That's just my whole shindiggy. But yeah, and I've actually been in recovery for the last 2 years. I got out of the hospital 2 years ago. I'm not gonna cry. But yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna leave this video at this. Just know that if you are dealing with anxiety and depression, you do need to think about yourself. Even if you don't feel like you're worth it, that's when you know you need to go see somebody, a mental health care professional, and get the help that you need. And whatever that may be, whether it's just to talk to somebody or if you're gonna need medication to help you get through it, do it. Don't be ashamed of it. I mean, hello, I'm on here and I'm letting you guys know that it's what I had to do. You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes for yourself. And that's the whole point of this, is to be selfish and think about you, nobody else. Not even the people who put you in this position, if it was anybody who did that. So, yeah, think about yourself. And yeah, I guess that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it was all over the place. But yeah, like I said, check in the description bar and I'll probably leave some side information or something like that. And also the other real talk that I'm going to have coming up this week, it's going to be how to move on in life. So just so you know, whether it's from a death in the family, a breakup, bad relationship, something like that, it's going to be my tips on how to move on, because I'm noticing how I'm moving on and moving forward with my life. And it is still about being selfish. So I will touch more base on that later on in the week, and hopefully I can have it a little more organized than this video was. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I shall talk to you this week. Bye guys.